What's up, everybody? Welcome to HV-MTL Forge live gameplay day 13. I'm Jason the Ape.
And I'm Nana.
Let's get into it, guys. It's been a grind. It's been a hell of a week. Almost 2 weeks now. Wow.
Dude, I know. It feels like there's 1 week left. That's what it feels like. And I'm a little nervous because I'm not where I need to be.
We'll talk about that today because you're right. It is getting to crunch time, and there's still people just starting. So it's not too late to just start, but you got to temper those expectations of what you think you can earn. So with that said, let's bring up a homie who's been grinding in the Other Space FM Discord with us nonstop.
For real.
What's up? Welcome, Merkle Tree. How you doing, homie?
Yo, I'm good. I'm out here. I've lost track of days now, but I'm just feeling blessed though, because it's a really cool thing what we're doing. I'm excited to talk about it.
Dude, it's been so dope just getting to know you, honestly, through this game, right? Like,
yeah.
I would love for you to maybe explain, like, how you came to play this game and even connected with Other Space. You know what I mean? So I'd love to kind of hear your journey.
For sure, yeah. Thanks, man. Well, to answer directly, I found your Discord from probably a comment on one of the announcements because I have a lot of friends in this space and they send me stuff because they know I've been involved in NFT gaming for the last 2 years since I got into NFTs like in a proper way. But my technically my NFT journey started with CryptoKitties in 2018. I was playing around with Coinbase had a wallet and I was like, okay, cool. Coinbase has a wallet. Got it. And then there was a browser in the wallet, and I'm like, "Oh, a browser, a wallet. What is this?" And my curiosity, peaked, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I can buy 2 cats and then breed them and have another cat." And I pay with Ethereum, and I'm like, "Sure, fine, that sounds interesting. I'm gonna try this," and I did it. And of course, those were it's like real cats. Like there's just like stray cats everywhere now. So it was a good proof of concept, right? But maybe not the value people associate with NFTs. But that's fine because when in 2021, when hash masks came out and, I didn't really know about CryptoPunks, but I would say hash masks. Someone showed me hash masks and I was curious. And so anyways, when that came around, I was like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. The CryptoKitty thing. And, it was like it was already somewhat familiar to me. So, and then I really got into the Rareables days where like people were dropping stuff on Rareables. Rude Boys, Trim Rude was like I collected a lot of his stuff early on. He would like create these beautiful pieces each day in Blender and drop them and they would sell out. And it was very exciting. And then I found art blocks, and that's just been absolutely incredible. I could go on and on about that, but that's been my main home for the last 2 years, I would say. I call it a home because when everything's going wild everywhere else, I go to Block Talk in Art Blocks Discord, and it's very chill. It's not token gated. Everybody can come in there, but it's just nice, and that's kept me just active. And not to mention I've minted some nice things along the way and held them. So I'm not complaining. And then I made the decision to focus on art blocks and NFT gaming in 2021 and put horse blinders, so to speak, on for everything else, just not out of insult or anything like that, but out of just peace of mind for myself. Like I need to focus on either collectible PFP, club-based, that whole meta where you're part of a big club, and I love all of that, and or art blocks and NFT gaming, because it's just like both of them are very overwhelming. So
art blocks is kind of confusing to me, to be honest with you. So the fact that you minted something which maybe looks like, did you mint a Fidenza? I gotta ask that.
I minted 2.
Wow.
I just had a feeling. Thank you. I just had a feeling.
That's it. You just minted 2.
Yeah. I didn't want to be greedy. At the time, it was just another art blocks mint, y'all. It was just a beautiful art blocks mint, and I remember minting it and being like, "Oh my gosh, these are all so beautiful." and it's a rabbit hole upon rabbit hole upon rabbit hole is how I would describe art blocks, because each artist is so unique and it's curated, and I could go on and on about that. And if you ever want to talk about that, hit me up after this game, because this obviously has taken up so much of our focus. And my business partner, this is like how I'm here, but my business partner is a big Bored Ape investor, loves Bored Ape since the beginning. We went to one of the first meetups when I minted a crypto Venetian in Venice in 2021.
Yeah, the Bright Moments Gallery.
Yeah, we were both there, man.
Yep. Wow.
We probably met
so many people, but I was in like the back and it was crazy. But yeah, it's like
that was the NBA playoff game. I remember watching that in the back actually towards the end of the event.
Dude, yeah, and it was such a cool vibe, you know. It was. I remember being like, "Wow, this is amazing," and that wasn't quick, even like.
Let's take a minute to talk about the back to basics on the 27th coming up. You know, we saw that post. So, Sean, you excited to take it back to the basics with some of the homies? Some of the
LA 7/27, July 27th, back to the BAYCX basics.
Oh wow.
So yeah, we're there's a community event, should be really dope. I can't wait to take part in that, you know?
Yeah, can't believe it's been 2 years, man. That's wild. So what got you, Merkle Tree, so intensely into this game? Because you've been a dedicated gamer. You're in this, you know. You've been in the Discord with us all, constantly grinding. What is it about this game that appeals to you?
And clearly you're an art collector. So for you to, you know, for me to see, you know, you and so deep with heavy metal, I think it'd be really interesting to kind of hear that.
I mean, I don't have a direct answer other than if there's a NFT game that I can play, I'm going to play it. I'm going to try and play it. And usually I can, whether I have to grab an NFT first, or usually there's a test play involved. And if I can't play it, then I just don't get involved. But I mean, the short answer is I've been waiting for Bored Apes to come out with a game for like, I don't know, 2 years, a legitimate game. Like Dookie Dash was a legitimate game, but it's more of like a, you know, and they're all temporary too, but I played that as well. So, I mean, you know, some of these that I'm playing with were my Dookie Dash high scores, even though they were delegated to me. And I'm managing 14 over 6 friends.
Nice.
Like IRL friends that I've met that I either knew before NFTs or met through NFTs. I managed 55 Avogachis for one person, and I got them involved because I was like, I can't manage your Avogachis for 3 weeks. This is serious. And he's like, oh, okay. Like, and I was like, but you can get involved in this too, because I show him stuff like all the time, and we show each other, you know. And he was like, oh wow, okay, well, he's obviously been in, you know, original, not original, early NFT games. So long story short, just I've built a network of people that allowed me to build a fleet, and I started early enough to for that to matter too. Like where I started with 2, and then I showed my friend how to play it, and then he got overwhelmed, and I was like, okay, you go be you, and I'll play this.
I'll take care of this for you. I got you.
And then I had 8, and then I got my business partner grabbed another one. We grabbed one with a companion because there was all this buzz. We still don't know what a companion is.
No, not at all.
So grabbed one of those, and then and then here and there they trickle on. I threw out a message in a group chat. I said, hey, if anyone is playing this game, let me know, blah, blah, blah. Someone hit me up. They were grinding on it and was like, yo, this is a lot. And I'm like, oh, I know. Send it on over. And just building the trust over the years has allowed me to play this game so deeply. And I probably would still be playing it even if I had 2 and I wasn't in contention for Legendary. I would still be playing it and building it out. And because you're essentially creating your own little NFT here, right? By designing it, which piques my interest. But yeah.
Well, thanks, man. That there's a lot to take away from that intro, and you know, really more than anything, really cool to have someone excited to just be playing the same games we are, because that adds a lot more fun to the community we're building. And you've been a great addition, and it's been fun to hang out with you for the last 13 days, as well as many others in the Discord. And I still can't believe it's almost been 2 weeks. It's insane. Sean, and on day 13, let's take a peek at yours. What are yours looking like? Are you still energy farming? Are you starting to curate a little bit more? Let's see where you're at in peak end.
Yeah, man, I'm energy farming, getting them votes up. I yesterday I mentioned I was going to try and balance more of my votes to my secondary heavy because my first heavy right now is sitting in the seasonal rank 474th place. So I'm in contention for an epic. Not bad. I don't think I'm going to hit legendary. So I might settle for a daily 20 points with this heavy. So now my goal is to try and manage some of these votes and get them balanced over. And look at this, 11 votes, 11 votes, 20 points over here. I really would like to be in contention for an epic by the end of this season for this heavy right here. So that's what I'm working on so far. 2.2 million forge capacity on some of these, 2.2
Nice.
million, and I think 2.2 million. So I'm working on that. Here's what I need. And I already see Benja in the comments. I want to hear from Merc. I need the alpha or what the meta is going to be to activate this third and fourth portal because I don't know if I should go to, in order to get that third portal open and activate it, I believe I need 60 tiles. And so 60 tiles, do I then activate the portal at 60 and then break it down so I can get that average up and start leveling up the tiles? Or do I just go for 90 and then activate that fourth one and then break it down? So I was really curious. I want to get some advice, maybe see what you've done, Merc, as well as maybe other people in the chat, what advice they have.
I'm gonna jump in real quick, and then maybe Merkle can
Please.
jump in because I've thought about this a lot. At first, the idea of building the 60 out and going to the 90 made sense to me, but then it just started thinking about the average, right? And I really want to keep that average high, and those average numbers once they go from 16 higher are like 2.5 hours. So I think based on that, just for how I'm gonna end up playing it, I'm going to do the build out and delete, build out and delete. And doing that is actually how I think I'm going to maximize the energy. And once I maximize my energy range, then I'll build out, right? And yes, that may take a little bit longer, but I think it'll be the quickest way to get that energy up. And if energy equals battery life and time in the rift, I'm going to assume I want that. So I don't know that that's a correct
Yeah.
play, but I think that's where I've kind of landed over the last few days.
I appreciate that, Jason. At first, yesterday I was thinking, oh, you know what, 60 to 90, that's probably like an easier thing to do, but those tiles get pretty lengthy and expensive if you throw some gears at it later on down the road. So I'm kind of with you on that. And at the end of the season, you do need to connect to that final portal up at the top, whether it's the portal or the actual rift portal. So I would imagine even if I need to connect at the last minute, it'll be a little quicker to do that than it would be to put all of the tiles out, connect it, and then average up all of those to increase the forge capacity. So I think that forge capacity still remains to be the priority for myself.
Yeah, I agree. Merkel, what do you think?
Well, I kind of made an early decision to focus on design and try to envision what the battling would be in next season and like what would be beneficial for me in a battling scenario. So I mean I have a more long-term strat than just this season as well, and it's difficult to do that. But at the same time, I have 14 and I manage my expectations where they weren't even playing with them first off. So for me to get them an uncommon and a vote every day is a grind in and of itself. And so that allows me to allocate those other votes to one, right? And so with that comes some lacks with my build, right? Like I can kind of build out to 60 and just grind it out because I'm waiting for like all the purple ones, and I'm building all these tubes on it, and there's all these designs. So, and then on top of that, like I want it to be all squares, because if it's a dungeon crawler and we're battling, I don't know how well a single line platform is gonna fare in battle. You know, like, and don't get me wrong, like I have those over here. Like this is my other build. I have a whole thing going around here on the edge, but what I'm gonna do is put lines down the middle so that it's, I don't really know the answer. We're kind of just trying our best here, but I am doing efficient builds with most of my other ones. But again, those are energy farmers for now, right? And then when the season ends, I'm gonna build these out for my friends, because I don't want to just leave them with this, right? I'm gonna build out some, like, my other one, some like webbing, whatever you want to call it, so that it's not, like, just because you said it's like it takes forever to get to that tile. Imagine if that mattered in battle, just in case it matters in battle. That's my general strat with building. And again, I'm focusing 13 onto this one, so this one can be chill. I don't have to really worry about energy capacity, even though my strat has been, I'm at 2.8. Before I started building, I had 16 average tiles at 30 tiles, 16 average tile level, 30 tiles. Wasn't that hard to get to. I would argue that building out and deleting takes more time. If I had to guess, it would take more time.
Interesting. I like it. Interesting.
Yeah. There you go.
All right. Well, it's still to be determined, right? And I think even one of the benefits we're finding here is having multiple to play in multiple different strategies is been, for me, really enjoyable, because I've learned something different from each one. This one right here, pretty decent average. It's going along well, but this one looks almost exactly the same. I'm like, okay, I feel good about these. What that's done is that squeeze an extra few votes into the daily voting, the opportunity. But these have a little bit more to them, right? We were early learns where we connected that third portal, so it's just longer of a grind. That's all that it is, right? So now I have to figure out, like, when do I have enough with these portals? When am I calling it?
We said it at some point, Jason, where like no matter what path you choose, we may all end up at the same place. It's just a matter of like the grind you're taking on now.
Right.
But you know what? Let me go to the chat real quick, because we got some great feedback over here. First, we got Benja. You have to build 60 tiles to unlock the third portal. The new tiles you build will be much smaller level than your OG tiles, right? Because the new tiles are going to be start at level 1. For this reason, they will get you much smaller amounts of energy. To solve this, you should build all the new tiles together far away from your OG ones. In this way, there's only one entrance to the low-level area for your heavy.
Oh, wow.
So that was really interesting, is that if he doesn't go in that area, you'll be the same as before you started that third portal.
That's kind of funny, because that's actually the strategy I did. Just naturally, it made sense to me if I could like push this away from all the other tiles. Basically, I made this like really condensed square with one access point. That was it. So, and really just hope that he wouldn't go back there.
And Benja, I think, Jason, you're kind of hitting on that. There's probably a trick to keep them from going to that area, right? Another thing, William Peartree says, I chose to open Portal 3 without leveling up max portals 1 and 2, and I'm paying for my sins.
Yeah, that's what I was concerned about.
Well, you're not alone. You're not alone. I think a few of us have done it, including Bastard, who says, I did that too, then bought another heavy and forgot to check the forge, and now I have 2 of those.
Yeah, good point right there. And that's something that you should look up at. And we all forget it at times, but when you're shopping for a new one, you can look under the fame, type in the number, and if it doesn't pop up, that means it's a clean build for you. But if there's something there, well, then that might help your decision whether it's worth it or not. Because there's going to be some that, like, Sean, I actually wondered this. What would something like this, if we're looking at the one I have up on my screen, like this night with this many tiles at this average and this sort of capacity, right? Does this become more valuable than a floor night just based on that? Would most people know to even look at that?
You know, like what's the premium on like some like an efficient build with what's your forge capacity and what's your average tile on that one?
Hold up 2 seconds. I'm clicking too many buttons.
Yeah.
God damn it. 505,000. And I started
Okay.
this one yesterday.
Yeah, you're just getting started. What's your average tile?
10.55.
Oh, okay. I mean, maybe a little bit of a premium.
Like, right? Let's look at this one. 1.6. This one's like 3 days old. 1.6 million, 14.4 tiles, right?
That's what I'm talking about. Like,
So that you're getting a little bit ahead.
I might pay an extra 0.1 for that.
Oh yeah, it's definitely justified.
Interesting. It's interesting. I you know, because there's somebody that's going to do it right in the future.
Well,
That is going to look for that.
the other thing I would probably gauge too is what are you in contention for? What type of amp?
Oh yeah, that's a good
So
call. That's the alpha right there.
yeah, so right now there's no way to kind of look all this stuff up.
So this one's in contention for an epic right now.
Valuable.
And then
Right?
this is now, it becomes exactly what you said, Sean, earlier, becomes a balancing act, right? So now trying to spread more votes between these two celestials. This one got the exact same amount of votes
Rare.
as this one yesterday. So this one went up a bit, but it's a rare, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that would matter too, even with the forge capacity and the average tile level. If that particular forge was already contributing to that seasonal leaderboard, you know, that actually may hold a premium. The only thing is there's no way you can check this on a secondary marketplace right now. So how cool would it be if there was our own forge marketplace where we can maybe see some of these things? You know, you might have to reverse engineer it, figure out like, you know, filter some of these and then see, you know, what is actually for sale. But it's not easy. So it's going to be tough if you're trying to build these up and sell it at a premium if we don't even have like the proper filters.
Right, right. Also, I mean, there's been no price discovery too. So like, how do we price something that doesn't hit the market yet? You know what I mean? There's going to be a lot of speculative energy on that now that I think about it, because there are going to be people who are like, I didn't want to play, but I'm down to buy one that has, well, actually, would anyone want to do that, or would they just rather buy the legendary amp? You know what I mean? And just like bypass the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's kind of the thing. It's like there's so many different things you can factor into the price of a legendary amp, which we'll see. You know, Merc, I'm curious. You're in contention for a legendary amp right now. What do you think would have been the minimum amount of heavies you have had to manage in order to contribute enough votes per day to keep you in contention for a legendary?
I mean, I'm glad I didn't start with 14 at the beginning. This is how I'm going to answer this question. I am very glad I started with 2 and trickled them in. I also semi-trained my friend that had 6 to, like, he sent me 1 and he kept managing 5, and he at least leveled up tiles, and there was like, you know, he might have connected some portals, but there were like some votes on there. So that was huge. It each time I got a new heavy, it was like it unlocked like instant votes like that, and that was huge. And then on top of that, I managed them in batches, so I, you know, by the time I had 2 or 3 or 4, I was ready for like 5 or 6, and then when I had 5 or 6, I was ready for like 7 or 8, and now I'm at 14 and I'm ready for 15 or 16.
Right.
Keep my edge.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I
Because
like
when you
that.
get to those long timers, that quick start again, you just cycle through, right? And it keeps you pretty active. It's like spinning a lot of plates all at one time, man. You get in that rhythm, but if you were to start all of them at once, I feel that's too much of a grind at 14 at once. But I know there's some people out there doing 50, 100, and I just wonder how. It's hard.
Not, but they're not like, not, I don't mean they're like not managing it, but like after managing 14, I have to say I would love to see someone manage 50. One person, like a team. It's a team of people, right? At the end of the day. So unless I build out a team, it's just me. So you know,
Yeah.
I respect the teams, but it's interesting being out here like just one. You know?
I mean, I was just looking at the leaderboard, right? And we've got, Adam Wiseman's #1 legendary up there with 515 seasonal points. I think this is Gabe right here in second place with 485. That's a
It is
really
Gabriel.
tight. Yeah, that's a really tight margin between first and second. And something to say that what we've said in a lot of different streams is there's no difference between #1 and 133 in terms of getting a legendary, except the top 5 bragging rights. You know what I mean? That's pretty much it.
For
Man,
sure.
those
But
first
still impressive.
that first
Yeah.
week was so crucial because now if the first 50 people are getting 45 points, am I right in saying that? A day?
First 50 get 34, I think. I have it.
Yeah, first gets 45, second gets 45, third gets 35.
Thank you. So as long as the legendary stays in first or second, they're just going to continue to just go up the same.
Right.
So
They
if
can't
it's just
fumble.
Gabriel and Adams legendary, then they're going to continue to stay the same. So we'll see. They really have to turn it up in order for them to take over that. But at the end of the day, and what's pretty cool about this is first, second place, third place, fourth place, all the way to like 130 or something like that. They're all getting the same prize at the end. So really,
Right.
the leaderboard is for the culture.
Like currently,
it's bragging.
Currently, I'm in 31st place with
What?
my
Nice.
Reaver for today, just for today.
Oh gosh. All right.
I'm 64th or 68th overall in the seasonal.
What? Good
Yeah.
shit.
So I'm grinding, man, and I'm very much in the same boat as Merkle Tree here, where I started with the ones that I personally own, and then asked a friend if he was playing. He delegated me those, and more and more and more. Right. So now I'm playing myself. I think 14 heavy metals currently,
Oh wow, nice.
and it is actually what you said in that the stagger effect has helped me a lot because now I have these set for 2 hours. I can tend to these for the shorter builds, right? And now I know how to get the energy up higher and stuff. But it helps with making sure that my Reaver stays in that legendary place as well. But with 30 points here, I can go all the way down 24 points, right? Like, where's the cutoff for 30 points that I actually am looking to stay in? 24 points might be enough for me, to be honest, every day. But it's interesting, just the point structure, right?
That's what I'm saying. You have to be like top 50, right?
I think top 50 will get me, yeah. So I'm gonna, and now it becomes a balancing act for your votes as well, because in Other Space Discord, we're doing a lot of active 1-for-1 vote trading with our energy trading. I don't want to vote everything I have for mine right now. I want to kind of do it sporadically out throughout the day so that I can kind of figure out how much I need to get that to, right? Because if I'm spreading them all out, thinking like, yeah, I'm making them all good average, that might not be in my benefit. And then maybe I go from legendary to epic and I just kind of screwed myself a little bit, So it's a grind. It's a weird game.
Well, good shit, dude. You're doing great. And the fact that you're picking up heavies from other people who aren't, as active, that's definitely a move. For myself, like I have 3 heavies. No one has delegated to me. And I started with 2 heavies, and one sewer pass that was given to my ape and another sewer pass that was given to my mutant. And then I decided to pick up that extra heavy just because I was like, you know what? I can, start over, do an efficient build right off the jump. It's already caught up from an energy standpoint. But getting those extra votes has been crucial. And, I think about it, it's like we got a little over a week left. And who knows if this meta is going to completely go away. So we'll see. This is season 1. I'm kind of like accepting the fact that I'm only in contention for an epic. And so that's what made me realize like, wow, these kind of rarity spreads are pretty large. So if I feel like I'm landing in the middle of getting 20 points, then I might chill out and start allocating my votes toward these other ones. And I think the name of the game too is like systems, creating a really optimized system for you, for whether it's a system in your routine for checking on your heavy and maintaining it, a system and routine for timing, setting up your timers, checking which tabs you need to do, as well as for votes, having a system for votes. And some people may have found like a system that works for them. And some people may still are trying to figure that out as we speak. And so I think that's one of the things that this game has really taught me is like you're designing systems around the game, around the mechanics of of the timing, as well as the community. And so that whole thing we talked about with trust, that really comes into play, because even through trying things with other people, you get to realize like, okay, even though we're in the same community, there are some people who I don't think I can trust, and there are some people who I absolutely can trust. And so it's really foretelling just in the way we're playing this game together, in the sense of can we rely on each other in this game to win.
Yeah. It's a great point, man. I think a lot of it comes down to the call to action of who rides together when it comes to these sort of games, right? Because oftentimes a
Yeah.
lot of our guests and Merkel, please like chime in on this if this is true to your experience. But for me, this game, it's okay, but the community has made it much better, right? And being in that Discord has made it more fun because we don't just talk about the game. We go on these, really wild conversations sometimes, and sometimes it's just checking in on people and saying like, "Hey, how you been today?"
For sure, dude. Yeah, the community has been great, just vibing in Discord. And I kind of nerd out on building games. So I actually don't mind the building aspect one bit. It's firing off 110 votes, vote for vote, vote for vote. You got any votes, man? You got any votes? That's,
Yeah, yeah.
that's
Any
the
votes?
stuff where I'm like, I just want to play my games. I don't want to, but with that, right, comes this community, like without being forced to do that. Maybe not 110 times, but like maybe 50 is fine. That like brings this connection that we've built because of the vote for votes. And it's been a wild ride, to say the least. And I feel like it's kind of just begun, not to sound really cliche, but I don't know. The battling is going to be really cool. I just, as a prediction, like recorded prediction, I think that
Mhm.
we're building teams right now, factions. Yeah. We will need to get together and battle together, maybe.
Yeah.
Hopefully, right? Then like this is all. It's definitely not for nothing, right? Because it's great, but within the game, I don't think it's just for fun, just to throw votes. I think it's going to matter. We're going to have to know people within the game, or it wouldn't be as fun moving on to the next season.
Yeah.
That's just.
And I can't stop thinking about the 10K TF end of season 1, and how that ended, and thinking like that was a call to action for a lot of these things to happen in the future in a sense, right? So like how that battle came to be and lost. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I apologize. But more so than anything, it's a realization that the intention of the games that you guys creating is a community based, like collaborative system, whatever that might entail. It's trying to figure out how can we get all these strangers to play together. And I'm curious where this next level goes, and Evo 2 and Evo 3. Like maybe you're right. Maybe we all have to pull together to beat a boss, or we need to start pulling resources or energy or trading batteries or whatever. But there's definitely going to be a need for team building.
Yeah, especially as it relates to crafting equipment, I think, like right now we know we're crafting decorative objects, we're creating tiles, but pretty soon we're going to be crafting equipment. And
Yeah.
that's going to be what helps us prepare for what's to come, as we go through that rift, and whatever's on the other side of that. So I can't wait to begin to upgrade, my Evo. The whole thing that makes me fascinated about this whole process and what keeps me going is the fact that I'm going to be able to evolve this heavy, you know? And so it gives me a lot of hope to be like, yo, if I just stay committed, I find ways to figure out how to have fun while I'm doing this, I come up with a system that works for me, then I should be good to connect some amps at the end of season 3, upgrade my Evo, and upgrade my heavy, and have a really good time, you know, because I'll be in a good position, especially with those battery packs. But you know, I love it, Merc, because you're just like in Web3 games, etc. You're really fascinated about this stuff. But the fact that we have been able to connect through HV-MTL Forge, and get to know you, you know, because you're not directly in the club in the sense of like a Bored Ape or a Mutant Ape. You're someone who has just absolutely bonded with the community, and I really think you're a valuable asset to the community, you know. So whatever games that come up next, it's going to be beneficial for whoever's partnering with you, for you to get their feedback, to to get your feedback and your style of playing. It's going to be really interesting to kind of see how you continue to navigate this space. So glad we got to link up through this.
Dude, me too. And I have to say, if we get the legendary, you know,
let me borrow your heavy. Let me borrow your heavy for.
Probably going to be evolved. I don't know if it's up to me. If it's up to me, Scrappy's getting evolved, baby. We're gonna see.
That's what I'm saying. I wanted to ask you guys that because I had this conversation with Daducator and some others in Discord yesterday. Is there's only going to be 133 legendary amps for the first season, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think people will do with it? Do you think people will rush to sell them? Do you think people are going to start to stack them? You know, like for myself, if I get it, I'm using it. Merkel, what are you thinking? You're going to sell it or use it if it's up to you?
Well, it's not really up to me, but if it were, like I said, and if I were to say get a cut or whatever, let's just hypothetically say if I did have actual possession of it, hard to say. But since I'm playing the game for my buddy, and he loves Bored Ape. He's used serums he's bought serums to evolve apes and mutants and everything. So if I know him well enough, he's probably going to want to evolve it. He may even maybe want to get, who knows what'll happen. Maybe another one's in the cards, you know, on secondary. But you can't count that out because, like you said, there's only going to be 133. We don't know what power they're going to have. And, you know, it depends what they're selling for. My answer is it depends what they're selling for because you know, 200,
yeah.
I don't blame you.
But I don't think there'll be that much. But you know, we'll see.
Let's do this for the hell of it. Let's speculate for a second. Throw out a price. What do you think the floor will be on day one for 133 legendary amps? What would you guys guess?
Like 100 ETH, I would say.
What?
You're tripping.
I would. Well, that's what I would list it for right away. If I owned it, I would list it right away for 100 ETH and see what happens. That's my answer.
I mean, maybe legendary amp number one,
and it's an anchoring point for me. But that's it. Yeah, you got to hear me out. If you're gonna hear laugh. Yeah.
All right, that's fair.
I like that. I like that.
All right.
Pump my bags. This is what you say.
Well, it's an anchoring point. It lets everyone.
No, I like it. I like it. He's throwing it out there.
Right away.
That's just a conversation starter.
Tamu says 20. Vicky says 7 to 10 ETH. So, you know, we got quite a range here.
Well, right away? Is this right away in a year?
Yeah. No. Like let's say day one, like as soon as we have access to them and they're sitting in someone's wallet. What is that?
Realistically, sorry, I'm a little. I'm just.
Hey, that was a great answer. No hate on it. It just I couldn't help my response.
It's a hot take, you know what I'm saying?
That's good.
No, like I agree with what everyone's saying in the chat, right around there. But at the same time, they're going to bottleneck. They're going to get used, and you may want to hang on to it for a little bit if you want.
Deflationary in a sense, right?
Yeah. I'm just saying. It's a funny number, but They're funny. They're funny until they happen, right?
Yeah,
They're,
yeah,
you
yeah.
say. They're
Yeah.
funny until they happen. So
Yeah, it'll
50
depend
ETH,
on the market too, right? So
yeah, you know, who knows? 20 ETH, 20 to 50 ETH
God
I
within the
would
damn.
first
love
couple weeks.
100 ETH.
Who knows?
Oh hell no, I would hate that because like for me, this is where I know I'm probably gonna lose money on this freaking game, dude. Because if I earned a legendary, I'm using it, right? Like I want my heavy to have 3 legendary amps ideally attached to it before I go through that rift. So if it comes down to like I'm looking forward to the price of a legendary as well, and I hope it's not high, not too high, because if I can get 2 epics and 1 rare, I might sell an epic and a rare, and then if there's like a little bit of a difference for a legendary, like I might do that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I can at least have an epic and a legendary. I would love at least 1 legendary amp, but I'm not going to FOMO into a legendary considering there's 2 more seasons until we go through that rift, because the whole meta could completely change and I might be in contention for a legendary this next time around. Now, what does that do after season 2? Well, it gets a whole new slew of players that can potentially earn a legendary amp, but it does increase supply, right? So there's going to be more legendary amps on secondary. And so I'm going to wait until I buy any sort of legendary amp, unless like, dude, the price is just in like where I'd be able to afford it like very easily, if especially if I'm able to sell whatever amp that I have and either pay the difference or sell 2 amps, and hopefully maybe that'll cover the cost of 1 legendary. But I don't think that that may be the case. So if I go and purchase any legendaries, I'm thinking maybe after season 2, you know,
Yeah, and
when the
someone asked
supply increases.
somebody asked a question, which I think is actually really important to address. Conscious said, "Are we sure that the amps will be tradable right away after season 1?" And I had heard someone say that they'd be sold bound until a portion of the game. I don't know that that was true or not, but I had heard that. I have not read
Yeah.
the FAQ sheet, but I think that is right.
Yeah, in the game guide, it says the amps. I'll look through it right now.
And I just crunched the little numbers here as far as like what the legendaries sold for from Dookie Dash, and I divided it by the number of legendaries here, and it's about 5 or 6 ETH, I would say. With like if I'm like mathematically looking at it.
That sounds about right to me.
Yeah. So,
Okay. First, it says amps come in 5 class rarities: common, uncommon, rare, epic, or legendary. The rarity that you earn depends on your leaderboard rank at the end of the season, which will be based on the points you earn on each daily leaderboard. Amps will initially be attached to your heavies save data off chain, not your wallet. When it's time for your heavies to evolve, oh, good point. When it's time for your heavies to evolve, amps will be brought on chain, at which point you'll be able to burn them and evolve your heavy. So you're actually right, Conscious. It doesn't say it's going to be brought on chain after the first season. It says it's going to be brought on chain when it's time for your heavy to evolve.
so when
And,
Right.
it's yeah, when it's used,
and when is your heavy going to evolve? That's
So
the end of
maybe it's.
season 3.
Do you think it would be in the mechanic where you're like, okay, I want to choose to evolve it, and they'll be like, okay, you have 3 amps available, and it splits it, or it'll be an actionable thing for everybody where on such and such a date, now they're separated.
I think this is my guess. I think when it's time for your heavies to evolve, that's going to be kind of like a global event after season 3. And so after season 3, before season 4, I believe that's when all of your amps will go on chain from based on what I'm reading.
Interesting. Yeah,
I
that's
don't
gonna
know.
be
Chat, what
interesting.
do you guys think? So I'm really
Yeah.
curious.
And then with there being 6 seasons, we have 6 opportunities to get amps. So what if we have to go through all 6 seasons before those are separated, right? So you don't end up getting, because previously I thought like you could buy them from someone, but maybe it's like all of them have to be distributed and then they become available.
Yeah, it says once amps are on chain, they'll be tradable. So you'll be able to obtain other amps that will influence your heavy's evolution. Remember, amps are meant to be burned to customize, evolve, and improve your heavy.
Oh.
And then it says heavy metal amps will be on chain and tradable when the game is over, but before Evo 2.
Oh, right there. That's it. That's the alpha part. Okay.
So I think
this season.
end of season 3.
No.
The on
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, okay. Sorry. I was like, no,
We
that's
know the dungeon crawler is coming season 4. So I think we have Heavy Metal Forge until for the first 3 seasons.
Oh jeez.
That's kind of what I'm seeing.
We're
I'm so
be
confused.
forging for a while, boys.
Wait, do you guys have another take on that?
No.
I don't know that I could do another 21 days of just grinding like this for one more season. So I hope it's spread in a way where there's like something like this next season. It's almost in a sense a completely different game, different mechanics. That's what I'm hoping for. I don't know if that's too much to ask or assume, but I think it wouldn't be too wild for that to be the case.
So I guess the question is when is Evo 2? When are we going to evolve to Evo 2? Is it after the third season or is it after this entire game? Like
I understood it initially after all 6 seasons, but I just kind of assumed that.
Sounds like to me it's after the. I mean, this is hopium, but after after this 3 weeks is over, we'll be able to evolve it, right, guys?
I think so. You know, it showed it in the trailer, that anime trailer.
Oh.
It showed the Evo 2. You know, we're going to need to upgrade our equipment pretty soon.
What if you're right and it's an option to upgrade? Like you can continue to keep playing, but you don't need to keep playing if you already have 3 that you're happy with, right? So like in a sense, like if we're getting a competitive advantage, right, Sean, and we have the 3 amps we're ready to go forward with, yes, you could play for 3 more months if you're trying to get 3 legendaries and you feel like that could change, but maybe you can jump in and evolve.
I don't know. Garga said after this is over, it's over. So, you know, we have 6 seasons to play this. And I think that's part of it is like we're going to need to really figure it out because this is we're limited by time.
Oh, yeah.
So, anyway,
this has been a fun speculation, though.
Yeah, it goes to show we have no fucking clue what's going on.
Day 13, no idea still.
Day 13, we're still clicking, but we're having fun.
So if you want to join the fun, guys, come to otherspace.fm, join the Discord. Otherspace.fm is our website. Discord links all the way at the bottom. It's been fun to see the community growing, man, and so many different people talking about this. And it's funny how many people like this sort of game, right? Like I like it. I just wish, because how about this? Because of how intense I anticipate the legendary prize being, I don't want to give up. So I feel like I can't stop. But I like the idea. It's just, man, I would like variety. So I'm looking forward to Legends of the Mara dropping as well soon.
Oh, that too. But hey, Jason, we ask you if you end up getting the legendary, or when you end up getting the legendary amp, do you plan on selling it when it goes on chain?
I mean, absolutely not. And like it's a grind right now, and I hope that I can get there. This isn't mine, but oh, that's not mine, so it doesn't matter. I'm in 68th right now, and I think that I need to get about 50 votes per day plus like 2 to 5 more every single day for the rest of the season. So if I can accomplish that and I can hang out in the top 100, then I would gladly use it. I have no desire to sell it. Like could you imagine how rare it will be to have a legendary Evo anything? I think those are going to be pretty powerful, you know, resources whenever we get to battle them or play them or whatever the point is of them.
For sure. Yeah, that's going to be sick. And like it'll be interesting. Merc, what do you think we're going to be attaching these amps to?
I
Like
think it's
how
going to
will
build
these?
out our bodies. So, and I think there might be like optional upgrades where, like, if you want a defense heavy, you can have like a really, armor tank in like Overwatch. You call them tanks, but like a tank, and then you'd have like a damage one where you have like turret. You upgrade their turrets. So, because it looks like they already have guns and such. So I think they have their specialized weapons, and so I think it'll just you'll
Mhm.
be able to build out their body, but at the same time give them that upgrade, and it'll be cosmetic as well as functional.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm thinking what we're doing is we're building a workshop. We're going to eventually craft upgrades to our Evo. But in order to evolve, we need to craft like, okay, this is my weapon system. I want to build this out. And in order to power this new weapon system, I got to attach an amp to it. And if you have a legendary one, then that shit's going to be buffed, And then you might be crafting some legs. It's like, okay, this one's going to determine how I travel,
Yes.
how quick I can be, how far I can go, and then what amp am I going to attach to that, because that might give me a certain perk, or ability. And so if you earned yourself a legendary one, maybe you earned like one legendary, one common, and one epic. Now you got to choose. You got to
Right.
choose, like, is that common going toward my weapon system? And then I'm going to use the legendary for the legs.
Oh.
So
Sure.
maybe, or do I just go on the secondary and then just, get exactly what I need to get and, attach it to my Evo before I evolve? So it'll be interesting. But Merc, I'm kind of with you on that. Like different parts of the mech or heavy that you get to upgrade, and then you decide the rarity as well as the attributes, that can be associated with it by the amp class.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it seems like
I
the
think
way.
that seems logical. Let's go with that one. Spencer, if you're listening, we would like that to be the case. No, but
Yo,
you're exactly. I
Spencer,
think you're right, man.
another thing, and I just kind of want to open this up, because it's a question I've seen, and I want to make sure like people are not unknowingly cheating too. And it kind of came up in some discussions where people have said, you know what, it really helps if you turn on like the auto clicking macro for your mouse. It helps with carpal tunnel, etc. And so I think the community would love to get clarification on like what is considered cheating, and if that in particular, anything that helps with clicks is considered cheating, because I don't think people would want to unknowingly have their forge deleted. And so I kind of want to put that out there. If Spencer or someone from the team can kind of add some clarification, I think that would be great, because here's what's on the actual FAQ. If you go all the way to the bottom of the FAQ, it's what is considered cheating for this experience. And it does say anything that alters the game client or game design that would provide an unfair advantage. Hacking, bots, cheat engines, macros, etc. Anything that would manipulate the hardware you are using are some examples. And so I think this would be great to clarify. If you happen to know the answer or you have a particular take on it, leave it in one of the comments. Want to know, is auto clicking or setting up a mouse macro considered cheating?
That's interesting, man. And I just think about it from, people with disability, perhaps. Like, let's say someone doesn't have a finger or a hand and they have to use that, perhaps, right? Like, how can that be a no?
Yeah.
So how do you judge that?
From an
That
accessibility
Yeah,
standpoint.
that's what
Yeah.
I was trying to articulate. Thank you. And that's a great question. We should tweet about that later and get some clarification. Maybe they answer, maybe they don't, but most of the time they are listening, and that is appreciated. Guys, it's been an awesome hang. There's been a lot of great great speculation today in this episode of day 13. We have some other guests already lined up for the streams coming in the rest of the week. Tomorrow, Grateful Ape will be joining us. On Friday, we're going to have Turbo Ravelord, who is the very talented artist who's done a lot of those really cool mirror pieces. There's just a lot of people who are excited to play, and we're looking forward to having different community members come and join us. So Merkle Tree, man, so appreciative of you coming and hanging out with us for the hour. I want to just say thank you. And do you have any plans for your heavies for the rest of the day? What are you working on? What's your goal?
Oh, I gotta slam out like 50 votes like now, and
Shit, I'll throw you some numbers.
Yeah, let's do some let's do some trades. Let's do some trades.
I'll throw you some numbers. I got 2 million energies just waiting.
Yeah, I set goals like that so that I play a little online poker while I'm waiting. So like, oh, I get to 50 and then I can play some hands, and that's actually been a really good strat because it keeps me from getting bored during poker, so I can just see a bunch of hands and yeah.
Yo, Merc, sorry to interrupt. You mentioned poker. Didn't we talk about this a little bit last night? And I was like, yo, you should talk to Jason because he's
like
been
4 days ago. It was like 3 or 4 days ago, but yeah. We definitely talked about it.
Yo, it's all a blur, but I was like, yo, Jason wants to set something up too. You know, we've been just thinking about ways we can engage with the community. You know what I mean? Like, and in this case, like the stakes could be a vote. So you ante up a vote, we play some poker.
Yes.
And then, you know, by the end of it, that person collects all the votes.
Yeah,
man, I'm down.
It should be there's something there. We can figure it out.
Okay.
You know, I have a problem with poker because I love it so much. I heard this quote the other day. I'm going to butcher it, so let me look for it and put it on a stream tomorrow when it gives no context and doesn't make sense. But I'm still going to do it. So I'll be back with that context tomorrow. No, I love the game of chance.
Wait, what's the quote? You're just gonna leave us hanging?
Yeah, I said they gotta tune back in tomorrow to find out that quote.
Find out the quote tomorrow, you guys. We're leaving.
You want to know how this sentence ends? See you tomorrow. You've never been to a show like that before, I bet.
No. I'm gonna share this quote, but actually, I'm gonna look for the quote and then tell you tomorrow.
It'll be worth the wait. Trust me.
Fuck.
This is what you get in the Discord, guys. This is half of the fun. Actually, speaking of fun, we have some fun planned for our 1-year anniversary. So stay tuned, guys. More info will be coming out on our socials about that. But this Sunday is Other Space FM 1-year anniversary of the first trip. So very excited to celebrate and appreciate with you guys. But until tomorrow, thank you guys for tuning in today. If you haven't already, subscribe, hit the like button, do all that stuff. Appreciate everybody. Let's take a moment to get all those screens off, get a little bit closer. Guys, Sean, you're laughing so hard. I love you guys. Peace.
Peace.
Later.